Andrew Langan-Newton is with us. He's standing in Rushen, and he's here to talk, well, not just about yourself, because obviously you're a party member, and that's the Green Party, and you've been here from time to time talking about it. So, party politics, and we'll come on to that bit in a minute, but what's your main stage? You know, what's your thing of standing on?
So yeah, that's correct. I'm a candidate in Rushen, and I'm a representative or a candidate endorsed by the Isle of Man Green Party. I've been a leader of the Isle of Man Green Party since it was formed in 2016, just before the election in 2016. And so I'm representing to the electorate in Rushen the opportunity to vote for a candidate who has the principles of the Isle of Man Green Party, 6 principles: sustainability, participatory democracy, ecological wisdom, non-violence, respect for diversity and sustainability, and social justice. And I'm putting forward my case for a sustainable future for the Isle of Man. This election in 2021 is so important for the future of the Isle of Man. It's global futures as well. And I would say to the electorate in Rushen that we can't wait another 5 years for the change, the transformational change that is at the tips of our fingers in our society, in our community. There are so many things we can transform our society with: transport, with energy, with how we structure governance, that's going to improve our community for everyone and for our environment.
So major changes to the way the Isle of Man government has been doing things up to now then?
I think an idea is so much stronger than an individual, and it's really putting forward an idea that we can do better and how we can do it. And there isn't going to be one thing that you change that suddenly transforms all of this, but there are many things that are tips of our fingers that we can change, and they go to governance. And if we improve governance and how we pass decisions, and the accountability and the transparency that comes with that, then that can improve decision making in a whole suite of things that deal with our society, in terms of health, in terms of energy, in terms of transport.
Do you need, though, a quorum to get these sort of policies actually on the table? I mean, how do you view the Green Party in Isle of Man politic terms?
So one of the principles of the Isle of Man Green Party is participatory democracy, and that's recognising we live in a pluralist society, and the Green Party is putting forward proposals, but we want to work with others to bring those proposals into effect. So it's not going, the Green Party is going to be the sole governance. It's going to, let's derive good data-led consensus policy for the future of our society.
And away from just the green issues, what do you bring in? Because you're allowed to have your own opinions, your own views as well on top of that, of your party, are you? I mean, when you go door knocking, you have your stamp on things?
Absolutely, and I've got an introductory letter, and the public can find it at greenparty.im. I've got there's a campaign page with all our candidates on there, and so my page has got my introductory letter that I've been hand delivering to residents in the constituency of Rushen, and that sets out 3 issues, and there was a 4th issue if I could have fitted it in, but I couldn't given the content. So the 3 issues are future of energy, future of transport, and future of work and employment. The 4th issue was housing as well, and how we work with housing and deliver the outcomes for our community that we want.
When you go to the doors, what are you getting? Are you getting anything particularly? I mean, we're hearing about housing you just mentioned there.
Yeah.
Other things, I mean, in your area, you know, is there micro things that are for Rushen that particularly stand out?
One thing, and people see that I talk about from the Green Party, and I'm talking about energy when they read my introductory letter and when I communicate with them on the doorstep, and people really look at me and say, we've got these assets in our environment. We've got the wind, we've got the sun, we've got the tide, we've got the waves, and why are we not getting the investments? Why are we not getting the leadership from our political leaders on these issues when we can see we know what we need to do, we know how to do it, we've got the technology, we've got the knowledge? It's like, why is this disconnect with our leadership on these issues and what we can see needs to be done? So people are really frustrated to me on the doorstep, and they go, we want some leadership on this, and we want some change, because we know it's going to be better for our environment, we know it's going to be better for our energy bills in the long run, and we know it can happen now. Why are we waiting?
So you obviously will work with other people, independents, and maybe parties, because I mean there's a lot of green issues now being floated around by almost everybody, I think. Do you agree with that?
I think this is the consensus, and this is one of the most positive things now we've in our current state of affairs, in that it's no longer a taboo subject or a minority subject about transform our society to deal with the impact of climate change and resolve that, and avoid that, but also improve our systems by having more equitable integrated transport systems, by having cheaper energy that's cleaner for our immediate environment and cleaner for our global environment. So the wave is with the Isle of Man Green Party and other important organisations who are talking about these issues, and it's a matter of like putting those words into effect now and putting votes behind the people that are going to take leadership.
So we'll be talking about a coalition then, if we get to the party sense here in the Isle of Man, because it's never really got that much traction up to now. Do you see yourself having an alliance and getting, therefore, a majority of a voice?
This is so important because we look at Westminster and we see a broken system. We see a binary system. Yes, no, black, white. It's Labour versus the Conservatives, and that system is broken. We have a pluralist society that people have many different views within our society, and that should be represented in our political institutions. So if our political institutions are not representing our pluralist society, that is something we need to address. But the Isle of Man Green Party look at that and say, as part of a participatory democracy principle and a respect for diversity, we should be working with others to form a democratic consensus on these issues. So
where do you want to work in government? If you were given a free range, which would be your obvious place that would fit you and your skill set?
Work with government. I mean,
yeah. Which department would you? You'd obviously work within government, would you? You'd accept a position in government if you got in.
Well, I mean, the election is for me is an MHK,
Yeah.
and an MHK has a particular set of roles, which is a legislator and holding the government
They
to account.
say, you know, if I'm saying, where would you like to go? Would you go in Treasury? Would you go in DEFRA? Would you want to go in education? What would be the best fit for you as an individual inside your party? But where would you fit?
So I wouldn't look at it for me. I would look at it for the outcomes that I want to achieve and the Isle of Man Green Party wants to achieve, and I put them for my manifesto. So, I mean, that involves a whole suite of actions. It doesn't involve me taking one position.
I'm saying, where would you like to fit? Where are you best fitted? I mean, day job, you're a sort of lawyer, aren't you?
I should say, yeah.
So,
I'm an advocate. So
yeah.
I bring to the position a unique set of skills and experiences, both being a political party leader, but also being an advocate, which I would say offers a great opportunity to deal with the fundamental roles, which is a legislator, passing legislation that's going to be for the benefit of the future, and holding the government to account on that. And you will have heard me previously speak about the accountability in our parliament, where we have a proliferation of departmental roles and then a sacrifice in the accountability and the transparency that's brought to effect by holding the government to account. Lord Lisvane was instructed to deal with exactly this issue.
Hold government to account is one thing, but would you work with government? Would you take a position in government? That's what I'm asking. Would you be a member of government if you got in? Would you be in the government, or would you be on the backbenches, carping about what's going on?
So this is an important question. We don't know until September the 24th, really, the day after the election, what's going to happen, who's got elected, who's going to put forward themselves to Chief Minister.
Who do you want?
Again, we can't answer that question yet. Right. I would want a person who represents the best interests in the future of society and would bring to effect a consensus. So that person would have to lead and have to have the ability and the tools to bring consensus and bring to effect the important things that the Isle of Man Green Party would want to see. And the Isle of Man Green Party is publishing its programme for government. And that's going to set the tone for what we would like to see in government. And that's going to say to that candidate, this is what the Green Party says, how can you offer this? And that will determine the Isle of Man Green Party's role in governments, or whether we say, well, you don't represent the values that the Green Party think are important as encapsulated in the Isle of Man Green Party's programme for government, and we're going to hold you to account and from the backbenches. But if it's a person who can derive a consensus, and we can say, we can support you on these issues, and we can offer your support, in an agreed form, then that is an outcome that is a possibility. And this is politics that happens around the world in terms of governments, where you have parliaments and you have governments.
Okay. Would this be a full-time commitment for you if you got into the House of Keys?
Yeah, I mean, this isn't a 9-to-5 job. It's a job that encapsulates your whole time, and I'm fortunate that I'm involved with politics already. So I'm already used to working weekends, working long hours.
Would you quit your day job as NIS now and do this as a full-time job as an
Yes.
NHK?
So at the moment, I'm an advocate, and I owe responsibilities to clients, and so I would that there would be some crossover, and other people have had these where you have to resolve your matters and then move to being a full-time MHK, and that's what I'd be doing. So like people who have jobs and get elected and they've got a number of months where they have to serve leave. We've seen this in previous elections before they can fully focus on the job. So that's my end. I have to respect my immediate commitments, and because I might not get elected on September the 23rd. But once that happens, then I'm focusing on the job, yeah.